All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Paul Stanford, Director of Grants Administration with the Department of Housing and Community Development. I thank you all for coming out today to receive your awards for your Community Catalyst Grant Capital, as well as your operating award. So again, thank you all for all the work that you all put in to successfully complete an application. We all enjoyed reviewing your applications as the reason why you all are here today, receiving the award. But before I pass over the duties to our Commissioner Kennedy, for her words, I most importantly want to give a shout out to the CCG team members. If it wasn't for them, none of this will be possible. So the first member I have right here, Lisa Kiernan. Then Casey Chisholm. And I like to call her the OG of the Community Catalyst Grant Program since she's been here from the beginning, Felicia Harris. Thank you all again for coming out on this nasty day, but again, you know, I wouldn't choose to be anywhere else but to see you all get these great rewards. So getting ready to pass it over to Commissioner Kennedy.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Really glad to be here. I actually look at this as a joyous day. If anybody that knows me knows that snow is probably one of my top favorite things next to being by bodies of water, like an ocean or a lake or a river or something. So the fact that snowflakes were falling from the sky, I look at it as a joyous day here in Baltimore. So welcome to everybody. Thanks for joining us for the announcement today of this round of our Community Catalyst Grant Program Awards. And as Paul said, we're going to be announcing both the capital and the operating awards today. I also want to thank the grants management staff and the team. Paul already thanked the majority of the team, but I'm also going to thank Paul now for, not only just putting together the review teams and threshold reviews, but then also all of the other review team components, and also putting together kind of the recommendations for the awards, and also all the work that goes into building and creating the relationships with all of you that are here as our recipients, because this is something that, those relationships are important, and it helps us as we move through just processing payments, also doing grant reporting, and seeing how else we can help you within the agency. And really, the grants management team has been an amazing group of city employees that really are here to help everybody at every stage of your project and your operations. So I want to congratulate them for how they show up and how they're doing. We've been busy moving many things forward at DHCD. As you all know, we have announced with Mayor Scott a $3 billion strategy to tackle vacant properties in the city of Baltimore. A number of you doing this work on tackling vacant properties are in this room and receiving awards today, so this absolutely goes to that. We also recently put out our housing plan survey. We're undertaking the city's first citywide housing plan that is set to not only look at what our housing needs are, but what our goals are. How many units do we need to be creating? What do we need to be preserving? And once again, I'll state that every one of you in this room are key partners in that work and how we create and preserve housing units at all different income levels and price point levels for both homeownership, rental, and everything in between. We also have announced our TIF, the Affordable Housing Tax Increment Financing. So stay tuned as that continues to work its way through our city council process. That is also going to be another funding source that will help support the work that you all do on vacant properties. So we will have that available as well when we look at getting to being able to deploy those funds, hopefully in the first half of next calendar year. So this is just, one of the key things that we talk about, and the fact that it takes a village and it takes all of us to be able to do this work and to move us forward. We cannot do this without everybody. And from our standpoint, one of the other projects that we move forward is our Perkins Somerset Old Town project. And one of the key components of that we talk about with the PSO and our partnership with the Housing Authority is that promises made are promises kept. And that is definitely something that here at DHCD we feel strongly about. And that's also how we feel about the Community Catalyst Grants Program. I know that funding sometimes is limited, and I know that it can be stressful getting those applications in, but we really are, as an agency, looking to show up to do this work in a way that is intentional, that is inclusive, and that is grounded in doing no harm in our communities. And all of you that apply for the funds and that are being awarded those funds, I fully believe hold those tenets dear to yourselves as individuals, as well as the organizations that you represent in doing this work in our communities. So we've consistently been delivering on the promise of bringing new resources to this work and to strengthening our partner organizations. We value you, we value those partnerships, and we value the fact that you are thoughtful individuals and thoughtful organizations that, like I said, are holding up those tenets of when we talk about communities and healing our communities and making our communities whole. So I'm also want to thank Mayor Scott for his commitment to equitable neighborhood development and his drive and focus that he has had in his first term on this work and will continue in his second term. Unfortunately, he is unable to join us this morning. He is actually attending the funeral for Glenn Middleton, Council Vice President Middleton's husband, one of the great labor leaders that we've had, not just in Baltimore, but in the state. And so unfortunately, he is not now able to attend here, but we do have with us Calvin Young, who is going to be representing the mayor's office today and working through that. We have had an unprecedented level of investment in housing and community development over the last 3 years, and now we're looking at the next 4 years where there's going to be even a much higher unprecedented level of investment in this work. So thank you all for your partnership. Thank you for being on the ground. Thank you for being the leaders that you are, and we are here to support you and here to help you every single step of the way. With that, I'm going to actually introduce one of our partners in government, Comptroller Bill Henry. I'm going to ask him to come up and say a few words. We cannot do this work as well without the Comptroller and his team. And you know, for those that don't know, if anybody doesn't know this, Comptroller Henry fully understands every single aspect of community development, having been in the world of real estate and community development many years ago. And so he understands why both the operational and the capital investments that we're making into the organizations are so important as we drive it. And his team is our partner in making sure that we get your grants to the Board of Estimates in a timely manner. So with that, I'm going to introduce Comptroller Bill Henry.
Good afternoon. Yes, as any of you who have been fortunate enough to have received these awards previously know, I make a point of trying to come to this ceremony because I used to work for a community development corporation before I was elected to office, and small philosophical detail, I still think of myself as being in the world of community development. I'm just in a different job. But on the times when I've had to write down profession on any kind of form, I do consider myself to still be in community development. And I've said this before, and I will continue to say it every opportunity. You guys are doing the hard work of actually making Baltimore better every single day. And I have absolutely no doubts that if we had more good community development organizations spread across the city, and we had the resources to support them at the level that they need and deserve, this city would not have any of the problems that people complain about it having. Community development is where things get better, and so thank you very much for the work that you do. People think that the comptroller is in charge of the money. That is not true, but I really do love watching it go out the door when it's going out the door for good things. And so that's why I'm here. And now I'm going to bring up Calvin Young, a man who I have known for many years, and this is the 7th time that I have been better dressed than he is. Okay.
Thank you, Comptroller Henry. And as you heard from Commissioner Kennedy, the mayor couldn't make it today. But as things happen with great people, sometimes their funerals will take a little longer because everybody's got to remember the great work that they've done. About 30 minutes ago, the mayor sent a note and said, I'm not going to be able to make it, but can you please make sure to give my remarks and let these organizations know just how much I appreciate the work that they're doing. So I'm thrilled to be here as senior advisor to the mayor to speak on his behalf and to celebrate the grant announcements that underscore the vibrant renaissance that's happening in Baltimore. The organizations we recognize today are not just recipients of funding. They are vital partners in our collective journey toward a brighter and more equitable city. Their tireless work on the ground is the heartbeat of our community, and it is essential to emphasize that our support is rooted in gratitude and in their daily efforts to uplift our neighborhoods. These organizations are dedicated to transforming our communities, addressing disparities, and tackling the challenges faced by neighborhoods, many that have been historically targeted and neglected for years. Through our Community Capital Grant Program, we are proud to provide both operating and capital support to these neighborhood-based partners, directly contributing to positive change and revitalization. By investing meaningfully in these communities and advocating for equity and access, we are not just dreaming for a better Baltimore, we are actively working together to make it a reality. The mayor is committed to building a strong city and will continue to seek out more resources to support all neighborhoods. As we turn our attention to the recipients of this year's grants, we will acknowledge each organization in alphabetical order. First, capital grant awards, followed by operating awards. Without further ado, let's begin the celebration. The first grant goes to A Step Forward, $125,000 capital grant to execute the demolition of 1838 West Landvale Street properties, existing interior, construction, third floor addition, and renovation of the entire facility to create multi-living dining and family services space for 18 low-income families.
They just told us they aren't able to attend right now because of a death.
Okay. They're not able to attend right now because of a death, so we will move forward. The next organization is Baltimore Redlining and Blight Elimination CDC, a $100,000 capital grant, funds to help support the development of multiple homes to help drive catalyst for Baltimore City row homes in Coppin Heights. The next organization is Black Women Build Baltimore. Oh, by the way, if you're here, feel free to come up and take a photo as we do this.
The check is not inside, so don't rip it apart.
A $50,000 capital grant to support the creation of a community resource center in support of reducing blight and restoring deteriorated blocks in neighborhoods. The next organization is CEO Empowerment Network Incorporated, a $150,000 capital grant to support the completion of CEO Empowerment Network headquarters at 1924 West Pratt Street. Funding is sought for finishing, or is received for finishing equipment and instructors. Next grant goes to City Life Community Builders, $125,000 capital grant to support the rehabilitation of 3 blighted homes on East Biddle Street. The next grant goes to City of Refuge, Baltimore, a $150,000 capital grant, Phase 2 of a supportive housing project that will provide housing for up to 80 beds. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Next is the Habitat for Humanity of the Chesapeake, a $125,000 capital grant to support the construction of 5 affordable new units in the Orchard Ridge community. Homes will be sold to qualified low-income first-time homebuyers. This multi-phase project will produce a total of 27 units. The next is Make Space Incorporated, $150,000 capital grant to support will fill the appraisal gap for 2 homes in on St. Vincent Street. These homes are part of a larger project made up of 20 live-work units designed for creative entrepreneurs and artists. The next is Neighborhood Housing Services of Baltimore, $125,000 capital grant to support new home ownership opportunities through renovating 5 formerly vacant properties in Panway Bradish, Walbrook, and Robert W. Coleman.
Thank you for being out there. Did you get it?
The next is Rebuild Metro Incorporated, $125,000 capital grant, renovation of a cluster of 3 abandoned Johnston Square properties into mixed-income rental homes. These properties are properties for the block-by-block revitalization of Johnston Square and will restore blocks where there will be 170 new apartments benefiting both new and legacy residents. The next is Threshold Incorporated, $125,000 capital grant, development, and new construction of 10 for-sale townhomes to be located on East Fayette Street in Greenmount West. The next is Village of Love and Resistance, $150,000 capital grant for the renovation of a 14,000 square feet of 1025 East Monument in Old Town, Middle East. This project is a Volar community hub which will house a daycare, event space, shared co-working space, commercial kitchen, community art gallery, wellness center, and radical organizing school. And to the operating grants. The first operating grant goes to City Life Community Neighbors, funding to support administrative staff for the project management of 3 boarded and vacant homes on the 2200 block of East Biddle Street. Next operating grant is to City of Refuge, Baltimore, to expand their operational capacity and increase their workforce development program offerings.
That's right, I'm breaking things. Anybody need a demolition specialist?
Next operating grant is for Edmondson Community Organization to support salary for the executive director position of the Hub West Baltimore Community Development Corporation, the development arm of the Edmondson Community Organization.
Hang on, we'll be back at you next. Okay.
The next operating grant is for Inside Out Incorporated to build the infrastructure and capacity of our health education programs, Know Your Health, and 3D Wellness. Funds will be used to sustain existing programs, hire additional staff, and expand programming for new schools. Next operating grant goes to Hope Harbor to support housing-related neighborhood revitalizing initiatives that connect the 9 neighborhoods that make up the 40 West Corridor, beautify the community, eliminate blight, and support home ownership at varying income levels. The next is Little Flowers Early Childhood and Development Center. These funds will be used for personnel marketing initiatives to promote the center's services and offset a financial gap. Funds will also help replace antiquated furniture and provide a safe and nurturing environment for children, staff, and families. The next goes to Pigtown Climbs, funds to support the general operating expenses and the salary of a part-time manager. The manager will be critical in grant applications, budget management, and will assist in operations and management of the organization. The next operating grant goes to Shepherd's Clinic. Shepherd's aims to expand its integrated healthcare services to meet the needs of the uninsured, thereby addressing Baltimore's health inequities. The clinic will offer free comprehensive care, including medical, behavioral health, and wellness services, and social determinants of health resources. The next is theb.org to expand programs that address COVID-19 exacerbated education disparities in Baltimore. These programs provide academic support, mental health services, and STEM resources for youth and families, fostering resilience and equity.
We're gonna go back.
Tim, could you please go back to Baltimore redlining? It's the second capital. Thank you.
We are going to go back to the capital grants
Yep, this one.
and we're going to go back to, so the story is that they went to the wrong building, but you have arrived. Baltimore Redlining and Blight Elimination CDC, a $100,000 capital grant, funds to help support the development of multiple homes
You're in now.
and to help drive catalyst for Baltimore City row homes in Coppin Heights. And then the final operating award goes to Village of Love and Resistance to support a full-time community organizer for the Volar project. This community organizer would continue to build the membership base of Volar and provide leadership development training to assure continued informed community input and decision-making. Let's give a hand to everybody who got a grant today. And I will pass back to, oh, wonderful. Oh, great, let's do this. Let's find out which one it was.
You could bring her.
Is this the capital or the? Yeah, I'll just read this.
You do not want to have somebody screaming and crying because they are now far away.
Yep, yeah. I'm saying that they come in operating too, so I'm saying that they did that as well. I don't think so.
No. Yeah,
Okay,
this is just that one.
perfect. All right, we're going to go back to the Capital Awards and award CEO Empowerment Network Incorporated a $150,000 capital grant to support the completion of CEO Empowerment Network headquarters at 1924 West Pratt Street. Funding is for finishing, for equipment, and for instructors. Welcome. Let's do it again. Another big round of applause. And I will turn the mic over to Commissioner Kennedy for closing remarks.
No more. I think we have officially made it through the entire list today. So just overall, once again, I want to emphasize the fact that we have so many organizations here today that really represent the heart of Baltimore and the heart of our communities and our neighborhoods. There is a reason why these grants are called Community Catalyst grants. They really are meant to be a catalyst for our organizations, and as well with an emphasis on our emerging organizations within our city, which all of you represent. So, thank you for stepping up to the plate. Thank you for answering the call. Thank you for being on the front lines every day in our communities. This work is not easy. If anybody ever said that community development is something that is easy peasy, lemon squeezy, they would be wrong. It has a significant number of challenges. It can change daily, especially for a number of you in terms of organizations in the community, in our nonprofit partners. Sometimes there's funding questions. How are you going to pay the bills? How are you going to keep the lights on as nonprofit organizations? How are you going to best show up with the intent that you have put forth and to fulfill the mission and vision for your communities, which all are grounded in the fact of helping Baltimore be the best version of itself that Baltimore can be. Mayor Scott often will say that, we are helping Baltimore be the best version of itself, and we are in Baltimore's renaissance, and each one of you are part of that. Today represents over $2.4 million of investment. $2.4 million directly into our communities, where we know that each one of you and each one of your partners will put that money to good use and actually will realize the benefits for the communities, and we'll see these projects coming to fruition, properties being renovated, resources being available. Everything is represented here, from renovation of vacant properties to addressing the social determinants of health, which are so important, to addressing needs for our youth and community opportunities. So I just once again want to thank you all for being partners in this work. We cannot do it without you. It takes a village, and each one of you is part of this village as we are transforming, and most importantly, as we are healing our neighborhoods in the city of Baltimore. I'm really focused on that right now, as we also look to go into this new year and moving to 2025. Actively, all of the communities represented today are communities that have seen historic disinvestment, or you're helping persons that have been impacted by historic disinvestment in our communities. And we cannot emphasize enough the importance of each one of you and each one of your organizations stepping up, like I said, to the plate to help make a difference and make Baltimore better. So thank you so much. Congratulations again. We will, of course, let you know when the next round is ready to go. Like I said, stay tuned for other kind of funding opportunities, other opportunities coming up, and please let us know if there is absolutely anything that the DHCD and or the mayor and the administration can do to help you all realize the vision that you have for your programs, your projects, and your organizations. So thank you again, and have a wonderful weekend and a safe, happy, and blessed Thanksgiving week next week. Thank you all.